I woke up at 5:30 because I had a toddler kicking me in the head.
Why are you using your toddler as a pillow, Patrick?
Welcome to another episode of Let's Rewatch, the show where we watch movies that we loved in our youth and find out if they're still any good. I'm Bret.
I'm Sam.
I'm Ash.
I'm Pat.
And this week we're joined again by Mitch. Hi, Mitch.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
Pretty good.
Good.
Excited to have you back. Sorry we shafted you on Sleepy Hollow. We should have had you for that one.
Oh no, it's okay. I'm excited to be back. But you know what? We did Halloween before, and we're doing Home Alone now. So I got to be here for every H movie from now on.
There you go.
Oh, I thought I was going to say holiday.
Yeah.
The holiday.
Oh, there you go. I can be here for My Bloody Valentine, and I don't know what St. Patty's Day.
Oh, that's got to be Boondock Saints, right? St. Patrick's Day.
Ooh,
yeah.
That's good.
There you go.
Oh, I haven't seen that movie in a long time. I'm still mad at it, though, because they shot a cat, and I did not think that was funny.
Oh, yeah.
Bro.
I forgot about that part. That does happen.
Yeah. Spoiler. Not to bring us down.
But yeah, we're watching Home Alone today, and
I'm the one bringing this one to the table. I am so excited, and I'm really happy to have Mitch here because I feel like he appreciates this movie as much as I do.
I might. It's been a while since I watched it, but I do remember loving it.
Who doesn't love this movie? I mean, it's got a killer cast, not just actors, but director and writer, and screenplay. So we have Home Alone that was released in 1999. It's directed by Christopher Columbus, who we know
discovered America.
Killed a bunch of Indian people. Kind of a bad guy.
Chris,
Not so great.
did I say Christopher or Chris? Chris Columbus. Whatever.
It's like Chris.
Chris. Anyway, thanks, Bret, for that. So we know him from Adventures in Babysitting. He also directed Home Alone 2, Mrs. Doubtfire, Harry Potter 1 and
the first
2.
one, right?
1 and
First
2.
two, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And he wrote Gremlins, which we've watched on the podcast, Goonies, which we've watched on the podcast, and Young Sherlock Holmes. So
I've been told to watch that.
we talked about doing it for the podcast, but we haven't quite gotten around to it.
So is this movie the exact opposite of Adventures in Babysitting?
I don't know. I haven't seen that movie
Yes,
since I was
because
a kid.
this is what happens when you don't have a babysitter, right?
Yeah. It's the equal and opposite force. This movie is written by John Hughes, which I didn't remember.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
So
wow.
John Hughes, who is like the famous 80s guy for Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Uncle Buck, which came out right before this. And
I want to watch Uncle Buck.
yeah, it's a good
be
one.
down.
And he also directed Home Alone 2 and 3, Baby's Day Out. Who would have thought? And the remake of Miracle on 34th Street. So John Hughes was a busy guy.
Was Baby's Day Out the one with the talking? He talks to the audience the whole time.
That's who's talking.
Yeah. That has John Travolta in it. Baby's Day Out was kind of like a low, under the radar type of movie with this like baby crawling through New York City and nobody seems to fucking notice.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I remember that
Joe
movie.
Montana.
Is he in that too?
I mean, if New Yorkers are too busy to even notice Charles Dance murder a man in cold blood, they're not going to notice a baby.
Yeah. That's true. Who cares?
And that only makes sense if you listen to the last episode.
Which Mitch hasn't because it's not out yet.
Yeah. It comes out tomorrow, Friday.
So time travel, Mitch, and then come back.
Yep.
You know, it's going to be hilarious when I listen to that one.
So this movie is scored by John Williams. So
Ooh,
I'm
wow.
pretty excited to hear it. Because if I remember, the soundtrack was pretty good from my memory.
I have a question. Isn't the song, there's a song in this movie that's like, it's like you hear the song and you're like, oh, that's the Home Alone song.
Yeah. Yes.
But it regularly gets played on like Christmas stations.
yeah.
Run, Run,
Because
Rudolph.
it's become... No.
Is it the one with the
it's
choir?
Like not. I don't think there's word. It's like the dee 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 dee.
Let's.
Oh,
That is a Christmas
Chime
song.
of the Bells or whatever?
That's Carol of the Bells. There's
Thank you.
no, there's the one with the choir, which is the one I think you're thinking of.
Yes, sorry, that's the one I'm thinking of. And just a quick sidebar. So my boyfriend's stepdad had never seen Home Alone. And so he just knew that song as a holiday song. And we're like, no, that's the Home Alone song. Like, what? It just blew my mind that it was like, how do you not know that that's the Home Alone song?
In my heart, I hope a little bit that you're mistaking Carol of the Bells for the Home Alone song. Because
No.
I
mean, it is like a specific, I'm pretty sure that there's a specific song written for this movie.
There is, and I can't remember if it's from this Home Alone or from Home Alone 2.
It's from this one.
It's one of those intensely on theme songs where the chorus is singing Home Alone in the background.
No, thank God. You are so wrong. I do not want you to be right about that. That sounds awful. So
It's Somewhere in My Memories is the song written by John Williams.
we'll have to listen for it and remember it because that's the song we're all going to be singing in a couple hours. So our cast is pretty killer. We got Macaulay Culkin, obviously, as Kevin, who this was really early on in his career. I think the only major thing we'd really seen him in before this would be Uncle Buck with John Candy and this movie that I haven't ever heard of, but it's called See You in the Morning with Jeff Bridges and Drew Barrymore. And he's like this.
Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, I think she's also a kid in it because it was 89.
Wow.
So, yeah, but Jeff Bridges, young Jeff Bridges.
Oh, wow.
We'll have to put that one on the list. And we got Joe Pesci, who
Love Joe Pesci.
who doesn't love Joe Pesci? He's amazing. We know him from Goodfellas, which came out in 1990, same year as this movie. A couple years later, he was in My Cousin Vinny. Year before this, he was in Lethal Weapon 2.
Doesn't he also have like a rap album?
What?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, where his character from My Cousin Vinny. It's not. I don't know if it's a rap album or not, but he has an album where he's playing the character of My Cousin Vinny.
That's
Oh my God.
amazing.
Yeah, and it's like a real whole album.
Oh no.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yep.
no.
This can go one way or the other, good or bad.
Wow.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of great stuff. Funny fact about this movie, the scene where the Wet Bandits put Kevin on the hook on the door, apparently on set, Joe Pesci accidentally really did bite Macaulay Culkin's finger when he threatens to bite all his fingers off one by one, and it broke the skin.
Oh.
So, and
Wow.
yeah, they made
How do you accidentally bite someone's finger? That's
not just someone, a child.
yeah. Like,
He's just so method.
Yeah, he is.
Very method actor.
The trivia page for this is actually interesting. That I saw that there's a lot. That's what I've been doing the whole time. Is reading through it.
Reading it.
I was like, oh, that one's interesting. Just one more. Oh, that one's interesting. That one more.
Like, are you going to steal all my notes?
No, I'm not. I just
Patrick comes in here,
No.
takes over the show.
It's fine. I read the Cosmopolitan one. You probably read a cooler one than that.
no.
I'm just kidding, Patrick.
You can say any cool thing.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I didn't. The one. A lot of these I feel like were better for the end because they talk about scenes we'll talk about, and but because we mentioned John Candy's in it, he improvised every single one of his lines
What? Okay, I didn't know that.
wow.
That's awesome.
on purpose.
I mean-
John Hughes, I guess, just told him do whatever you want. Like,
With someone like John Candy, like I feel like, yeah, it's like you hire him and you just say, just do your thing. Just do it.
Nobody regrets that decision.
Was that
either.
like the janitor from Scrubs thing?
Did
Yeah.
he improvise all of his lines too?
Yeah, and then the janitor just does something.
yeah,
That's
it was like
awesome.
he just said something ominous to JD or something. Yeah, that's what
Really?
the script would
Oh,
just
wow.
say. Yeah, or he says something weird or something.
So we also have in this movie Daniel Stern, who's Marv, the other Wet Bandit.
Oh, yeah.
And
Gotta love Daniel Stern.
yeah, he's hilarious. So he, before this, was most famous for playing in the Wonder Years as adult Kevin and the narrator, which I had no idea of. Just fascinating.
Oh, yeah.
And then he was
also in something recently that we saw.
Well, he's in City Slickers, 1991.
Oh, yeah, he's in City. Oh, we got to do that movie.
Billy Crystal. So, guys, I wasn't able to find it because I had limited time, but apparently Daniel Stern was in a short with Billy Crystal called City Slickers in Westworld.
Oh,
And I desperately want to see this.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either, but somebody was telling me all about this. It was like I don't know if it was an SNL sketch or like, it was something like that where it was like a big television show sketch.
It's like a 6-minute short somewhere on the internet that I did not have time to go and find and watch before we recorded. So,
oh, wow.
We are going to have to watch
sounds like
this.
that would be like a Primetime Emmys award thing. Like,
yes. I think you're right. Yes.
Yeah, it's on his IMDb, 2017.
Yeah.
Daniel Stern was in Game Over Man as the pervy hotel owner.
Wait, what was Game Over Man?
The workaholics guys.
Oh, yeah,
in the
yeah,
hotel.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was a pretty funny movie.
It was super gross.
It was pretty gross. It was very workaholics. I did enjoy that. I'll run through the rest of the cast pretty quick. We got John Hurd, who plays the dad. He's kind of just known for a lot of cameos. He was in Big, the movie The Witness. Catherine O'Hara, who we have seen.
Amazing.
Love her.
Yeah, from Beetlejuice. She played Sally in Nightmare Before Christmas. She was in Best in Show.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. Get this. She was also a voice in the terrible movie Rock and Rule from 1983.
I don't know if I know that.
Oh, it's bad, guys. There's no way it's good.
It's not. What is that? I'm thinking Rockadoodle.
Oh, I'm thinking Rockadoodle too.
Oh, yeah. I remember Rockadoodle.
I love Rockadoodle.
Off the show. No, just kidding.
I do not know what that is.
Just
Rock
kidding.
and Rule was a terrible 80s movie that my first animation teacher made me watch, and it's very...
Oof, that one?
Yeah, that one. She was also in a series of unfortunate events as Justice Strauss. Yep. And then, obviously, John Candy. He does a bit at the end. He plays Gus, and we know him from everything. Blues Brothers, Saturday Night Live, Little Shop of Horrors, Spaceballs, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Uncle Buck. Get this. He played Wilbur, the big white bird from The Rescuers Down Under.
Oh, yeah.
Which I didn't know until I looked it up.
The albatross.
And the albatross. Thank you. Yes, you have children. You've seen it probably much more recently.
Don't be bird racist, Sam.
Birdist. That was a foul joke.
Oh.
Brett, turn your chair around.
Excellent comeback.
Yeah. Why would you do this to me?
Quit henpecking.
Brett, stop right now before you get egg on your face.
It hurts. It hurts. So, fun fact about this movie is that it was kind of a record breaker for family comedies at the time. And it made $285 million domestic in 1990, which was a lot of money. And it was #1 in the box office for 12 weeks.
What?
12 weeks, which I am assuming they didn't release this too far before Christmas. So it must have held strong for long after Christmas.
Did you say 12 weeks?
12 weeks.
I still can't wrap my brain around that.
It was released November 16th, 1990. So, yeah. Like, in February, people were still going to see this movie.
I wonder, like, how long were, like, some of these billion-dollar movies at #1, like the Avengers movies?
Oh, not long. Because things are not in theaters for that long anymore. I mean, major theaters.
Like, nowadays, you know, they, like, I would say back then, January and February was where you just dump movies that, you know, weren't going to do well anyways. Now, like, the whole year is up for game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
True. Yeah, I was surprised to see like Wreck-It Ralph just released on Thanksgiving, but I guess Thanksgiving is a big day now too because people go to the movies and stuff.
The first one was released around that time as well.
Oh.
We forgot we were doing the podcast today briefly, and we were like, oh, let's go see Wreck-It Ralph. And
he's like, 7:10 screening. I was like,
oh, is that why it's so dark where you guys are at? Are you podcasting from a theater?
Yeah.
I have the lights turned up all the way, but it I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, no,
here.
it's...
Yeah.
He's a joke.
I know, but it is kind of dark in here because we have this super rad 1960s light that will not go above a dim, cool Mad Men-esque glow.
I can adjust the lamp so it looks like we're doing like a police.
I was literally about to say that. That's literally...
That whole it was one of the biggest money making movies is because of Dogma from Kevin Smith.
Oh yeah,
that scene where they're talking to Selma Hayek's character, the Muse, and she's like, "I'm responsible for 9 out of the 10 movies that have grossed the most money," and then except for the Home Alone one, well, she does the holding the face scene. So that's why I always remember the fact that this movie made so much money.
Yeah, it's like, except for Home Alone, because they had to sell their soul to the devil for that one.
Yeah, that's right.
So the holding the face scene apparently was an accident, and it was scripted as Kevin's character was just supposed to slap his own face, move his hands off, and scream and run away. And first take, for whatever reason, Macaulay Culkin slapped his own face and kept his hands on there and kept screaming, and it's like one of the most famous scenes. So
yeah, it's iconic.
It's on the cover.
Yeah, it's the cover of the movie.
Well, do you want to start us off since you're bringing it with your memories of this film?
Sure. I mean, I just have so many fond memories of this movie. I mean, this one came out when I was just a wee little babe of 1 year, but I remember watching this as a kid all the time. And the second one came out when I was pretty young, and I remember going to the theater to watch it with my dad. And just laughing my head off to the point where somebody had to come up behind me and tell me to stop laughing so loudly.
Oh, that's...
I know, but
so cruel.
It was so cruel. Kid? I was a kid, yeah, but my dad said that I was laughing at all the non-funny parts. So the parts where they're
fuck that person from 25 years ago.
They're such a jerk.
Stop enjoying this movie.
Yeah,
small child. Jeez.
Yeah, who knows why they were such a jerk? I remember that, but no,
Sam never laughed again.
Aww.
Just kidding.
Thank God that's not true. So. Yeah, I imagine this is going to hold up pretty well, especially with how well known the director and the writer are. And I haven't seen this probably for, I don't know, a couple years. Probably 4 or 5. About as long as we've been doing the podcast. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Have you been waiting to watch this?
I've been waiting, yes. I've been waiting on a lot of my favorite movies just for you guys, because I love you that much.
Aww.
So I suspect this will hold up, and I'm very excited to go make a cup of hot cocoa and watch this tonight.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I wish I don't have any of my Christmas decorations up, and I was like, damn it, I wish they were up, and I was all in the Christmas spirit.
Yeah, I made Bret very reluctantly play Christmas music and decorate the tree with me. Aww. And we went through the whole span of types of Christmas music from classic 50s to modern John Legend. And then we made it all the way around to heavy metal Christmas music and ended on Bossa Nova Christmas. It was pretty great.
Nice.
But no, I think this movie is going to be really funny. I think the writing's going to be really clever. I think it's going to have a lot of really great physical comedy. And I think it's just going to be so much fun. Bret.
Sorry, I was distracted because I was looking up. You guys ever listen to Macaulay Culkin's band, The Pizza Underground?
Oh my God.
That is a great band name.
Choice name, though. Choice name.
Yes.
Literally, aren't they? They're it's like a Velvet Underground tribute band, but all their songs are pizza themed or something.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is sounding even better to me. I love it.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I really have seen Macaulay Culkin do outside of this movie recently. Is those YouTube videos where he's just eating pizza. Man, I do remember watching this movie a lot when I was a kid, but it was like one of the few holiday movies that wasn't just super boring.
Yeah. I think it's one of those magical movies that is a Christmas movie, but God damn it, Podcat. She's late today.
I remember it being pretty good when I was a kid, but I don't know what to expect from it at this point. I will throw you down the stairs.
I was going to say before I was rudely interrupted by the cat, I think it's one of those awesome movies that does take place at Christmas, but the enjoyment transcends Christmas itself. You know, like it feels right to watch it at Christmas time, but I would not be sad to like watch it in the middle of summer.
What was our other movie? I think it was another one of the Christmas movies that was like, can we watch it at not Christmas?
Die Hard.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, you can watch Die Hard not at Christmas, right?
Yeah.
You can watch Die Hard whenever.
It is not a requirement.
But can you watch Home Alone at not at Christmas?
You can, but it will feel a little weird. I will admit. All right.
I feel like that's one of those ones that's like it's like ready for like Christmas in July kind of thing. Like when other places are celebrating it.
But I think it needs the Christmas, like a Christmas in July. There needs to be some sort of criminal intent. But I think we're gonna enjoy it mostly because of Joe Pesci. Honestly,
yeah.
I feel like that's why I'm here. Not Macaulay Culkin, not anyone else in this movie. I want to see Joe Pesci be Joe Pesci. And this is
the most Joe Pesci, I think.
I think My Cousin Vinny is the most Joe Pesci, but this is a close second.
I actually haven't seen that movie.
No, it's like one of the best movies of all time.
It's magical.
Oh, we got to do it.
My favorite part about My Cousin Vinny is that the reason why I have seen it is because my grandpa had me watch it. And it is, for those who have seen it, you get it. But like there are so many inappropriate F-bombs in that movie. And I watched it with my grandpa. You're the coolest grandpa.
Yeah. Well, my dad sat down and watched Clockwork Orange with me, and that was fun.
Oh, dear. No, it's not. It's nowhere near.
You guys watched the whole thing, or did one of you at some point get up and walk away? Like,
yeah, we got to the part where he's like just having sex with those two women, and it's like fast forward, and it just keeps going for a long time. And I turned to my dad and was like, "So is this movie basically just porn?" And he was like, "Yeah," and we both got up and left.
That's awesome.
Let's never speak of this again.
Yeah. At least you didn't do what my dad and I did, which was he was very excited when I was in 8th grade to take me to go see Eminem's movie 8 Mile.
Oh, wow.
Where we were 8th grade, where we were trapped in the theater in like the first row because we got there late with that one. Not 2, but like 3 really long, awkward, full-blown sex scenes with him and Brittany Murphy. And it was so awkward. Oh, and then I had to ride home with my dad, and we were like 45 minutes away from the theater, and I just pretended to be asleep the whole ride home. And none of us said a word, and we never talked about it again.
Oh, gosh.
So I feel you, Ash. Why?
I don't have an inappropriate movie story.
Because every movie is inappropriate.
All of your family movie stories are inappropriate.
My favorite going to the movies with my parents story was, I think, like the last movie I even saw at the theater with my dad was like The Matrix, the second one.
Oh.
And these
is that
kids,
the one with the
ghosts?
The dudes? Orgy scene? Oh.
Yeah, I think also the orgy scene.
It's got the rave. The
rave orgy?
The like steampunk rave.
But it was hard for that to be awkward because there's an entire row of like really loud kids behind us, and they like kept showing up late and like knocking into our chairs, getting up during the movie. And like 20 minutes into it, I just took like a handful of Skittles and just turned around and chucked it at them. I was like, "Shut up!"
How did that go?
They did not move or breathe for the rest of the movie. It was pretty good.
Good job.
Thanks for the free candy.
Yeah. I think that was awkward for my dad. He was just like, "You should not have done that."
Anyway.
Hey, Ash.
Next.
What do you think?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I don't know how long ago the rest of you guys saw this, but I saw this movie. I mean, not for the first time, but I saw it just like 2 years ago. I think 2 Christmases ago.
Okay.
Because going back to the story of Bryce's stepdad, he had never seen this movie, so we were like, "It's Christmas, let's watch this movie." And he hated it so much.
No.
Hated it. And like Bryce, his mom and I were just like, "This movie's so great." And he was like, "This is the stupidest fucking movie I've ever seen."
Sometimes, Ash, we just meet broken people in life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's not their fault.
They just therapist, ironically.
Okay, you know what? I feel like that gives him a free pass. Like, because if
I think this movie is totally going to hold up because I feel like this movie is kind of like comfort food.
absolutely,
As far as, like Christmas movies go, or movies in general, like something about this movie just feels comforting when you watch it. Because like, even though Kevin is like in danger, I'm doing finger quotes, people at home, like it still feels super safe and like he's never really in danger and it's just like fun, you know? Because like the reality of the situation is like, let's face it, this kid would have been murdered probably.
yeah. Which is why I think Bryce's dad did not enjoy it as a therapist.
Maybe.
Like,
He
you
was,
know,
he was
if you
watching it being like, that kid should be dead.
well, if you're a therapist, you've probably talked to people of like the real life version where it did not go hilariously well. Like, so I can kind of get how it's hard to suspend your disbelief.
It should have gone like that scene in the last movie we watched, Last Action Hero.
What?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That
Wait,
would
which
be
scene?
the real end of the movie.
The guy that robs him.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And he bites all his fingers off.
Yeah. Perfect.
But yeah, I'm excited. I will say, so we watched Home Alone 2 years ago, and then we watched Home Alone 2 last Christmas. That one does not hold up, in
What?
my opinion.
Really?
Really?
I will throw that one out there. Sorry.
You didn't like Lost in New York?
No.
It's got Donald Trump.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
Yep.
no.
He's in the movie, guys. It's just not as like perfectly crafted as this one is. There's a lot of like what
It's got Tim Curry.
Yeah.
it does have Tim
But
Curry.
I love how they paint him as a villain and you're supposed to hate him, but he's literally doing
his job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the ethical and legal thing. Like a small child has checked into our 5-star hotel on his own, and he's trying to verify that there is parental supervision around, and we're
Yeah.
supposed to look at him like he's this monster.
And like, there's so many things in the second one that you're just like, what? Like, there's that. And then at one point, for some reason, he has access to this like abandoned house. And you're like, what? What? How?
Oh, I know how. That part makes total sense. It's like his uncle who's renovating his house. And he's somewhere else on vacation, and he goes there to try and find his uncle who's not there.
But how does he know where that is?
Because
Like, how
back
does
in
he
the
know
day,
There was no
Address.
GPS.
It's an address. You just found the address.
yeah.
It's New York. It's a grid system.
I'm just
Okay,
I went
fine.
to New York as an adult, and I had a hard time finding things.
That's because our brains were raised on GPSs and Google Maps, and his brain was not.
I
He
guess
knew how to read real maps.
It's true. Anyway,
That's the only logical explanation I could think of.
yeah. But yeah, I think this one is really great, and I think it'll be enjoyable for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be great. This is one, I couldn't tell you the last time I saw it, but I feel like I've seen it so many times as a youngin'. It's just, I feel like I'll be surprised if any scene surprises me. I'm sure there might be a couple. I'm most interested to see if there's any little bits here or there that are going to feel weird in today. Because this movie's what? Was it
1990?
1 or something? Or
1990.
yeah, it's almost 30 years old. So, I mean, if we get through it and there's nothing that's problematic in it, that's a pretty impressive feat.
Yeah.
I remember when we were younger, like the scariest thing in the movie actually was the fireplace.
Yes, yes.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if that was to
Furnace.
scare me.
Furnace, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Are you going to watch it with your kids, Patrick?
No, they're in bed. My time.
Oh.
It is 9:30 my time. They're
Are you you going to watch it with your wife at least?
She's also probably in bed.
Oh. All right, Mitch. Give us your thoughts.
I mean, I'm in the same boat as Patrick. I think it's been a long time since I've sat down and watched the movie all the way through, but I am super excited. I just remember what kid wasn't in love with Rube Goldberg devices at that age?
Oh,
you know?
Yeah.
Like, none of the stuff is exactly that, but, setting up traps and stuff like that, or, this happens and then this happens kind of thing. I mean, how many of my parents' ankles were twisted because of cars on the stuff like that? I'm looking forward to that. And then, looking at the fact that Joe Pesci did this the same year that he did Goodfellas, it's obviously two very different type of roles. And if anything, like Chris Columbus work when directing this movie translates into stuff that you would see in his Harry Potter movies later on, I am super excited about watching this movie.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. I've never looked at it through that lens before. That would be an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, it does seem like a weird transition for him.
I meant the whole like what sort of things do we see here that maybe we saw in Harry Potter,
Yeah. But I mean, the tonal shift between this movie and Harry Potter seems really different.
I would argue, just from memory of both before watching, that this and the first Harry Potter are eerily goofy similar.
Yeah, there's a lot more slapstick humor.
He did the first two Harry Potters, and then you can see the tonal shift hit in the third one.
Yeah, but I mean, the Harry Potters feel less serious for Chris Columbus. Even Home Alone is meant to be a comedy, but it still feels more serious than Harry Potter. I think just because there isn't that fantasy element.
They're both about grown ass adults trying to murder children.
That's fair. All right.
How much darker can you get?
I actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I just got to watch the movie now, but I in my head, I'm thinking of the Harry Potter theme and imagining the Harry Potter theme playing over the scenes in this movie. And I'm like, I feel like that actually is totally identical.
Yeah. I mean, they're both John Williams.
Well,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, there you go. But yeah, it's definitely, this movie is pure slapstick humor for sure.
Totally.
And it's got that, I wonder if this even set, because it was 1990, that theme that you see throughout the 90s so much of the kid is smarter than the adult. Like in Jumanji, we see that, and Goonies, that seemed to be sort of a theme. I guess Goonies, was that before this?
It was before. I think Goonies it was 87.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But
it definitely seemed to be a trend.
Goonies didn't have the just cartoonish violence of children on adult violence that would kill a normal human that we saw around. I feel like
there is a lot of cartoony violence in this movie, so
it's a simpler time when the pitch of kids are dumb, but what if they weren't?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you ever think that Kevin grew up to be a structural engineer or anything after coming up with all those ways to
he grows up to be Jigsaw from the Saw movies.
Makes a lot more sense.
Oh, dark.
I just love torturing people.
I really liked Mitch's version much better. That's way less creepy.
Yeah,
just some dude playing with CAD.
I like the thought of him growing up to be that guy that runs the practical engineering YouTube channel.
Totally. I see it. Did you know that Kevin, or Macaulay Culkin's stunt double, was actually a 30-year-old man for this movie?
I'm not surprised.
And also, Macaulay Culkin's little brother plays his cousin in this movie.
Yeah, Kieran.
Oh, that's
Kieran.
right.
Yeah.
The one who drinks the Pepsi and wets the bed.
Yeah.
I feel like we've had this conversation before. I'm having
I can't wait.
deja vu. Have we done this movie before?
Now you're making it worse.
Yeah, with me, and he slurps the Pepsi. Which is really weird. It's one thing to have a bedwetting problem, but it's really weird that it's like he's bragging about it. He's like flexing on it. Like
he's like using it as a weapon.
I'm about to piss on you. Yeah.
I mean, you can only go one of two ways. Like, you can either hide in shame or own it. Like, if you could stop the bedwetting, you would. And obviously he can't. So he's just leaning into it. I get it.
Yeah, but fueling up.
But there's like owning it and they're steering into it. That's the
people usually pay extra for water beds.
Wow.
This one comes with an aroma.
But
asparagus.
Aromatherapy. Oh God.
Oh, Bret, no, take it.
That just goes to like some of the stuff. It's some of the minor things that blow me away as the most realistic. Because I feel like, again, now having children, if I had family in the room and we held our kids, and someone else's like a sibling's kids looked at one of my kids and said something like, I would feel like I'd turn and be like, yo, did your kid just threaten to pee on mine?
I'm gonna pee on you.
Drip, drip, drip.
Growing up in a really big family where holidays, there were just like a ton of kids, way more kids than there were adults, I could totally see weird comments like this slipping through the parents, or they're just too tired to care. They're like, it's just pee, we'll clean it up, it's fine. Like,
didn't kill you.
All right, so we got our final thoughts, and we're going to pause the recording and watch Home Alone, and you can join us back after we've seen the movie.
Doesn't it kind of sound like the song from Hook?
I feel like that's the same song they use for like jewelry stores.
My scandalous statement for this episode is that I think that for his entire career, Danny Elfman has just been doing an impression of John Williams.
Oh, maybe.
I hear it.
One of the main themes in this movie is the This Is Halloween song, and this movie came out first.
Wait, The Night Before Christmas, This Is Halloween?
Yeah, one of the themes through like the first half of the movie is like da 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 da, and it's like, what is this? Like,
I don't hear it.
Yeah, I don't know if I caught that, but I definitely think the Home Alone song sounds a lot like other songs I've heard in movies.
yeah.
I definitely heard like the John Williams Harry Potter theme song influence in there with all the sleigh bells and everything. Definitely the kind of Chris Columbus sort of Harry Potterness, especially with like the furnace, you know, like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So with the music, the thing with John Williams too is what's interesting is I wonder, it's a chicken or egg thing, is his scores I always feel very like I'm watching a movie, like that. Yeah, that classic Hollywood. I'm watching glitz and glamour and an entertaining adventure, and part of me wonders, does his music in and of its own self invoke that, or is he just is been part of so many iconic movies that it's the other way around, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I feel like we've watched a couple movies on this podcast where we're like, wow, the score was really good. And we're like, oh, it's John Williams. Okay, there we go. We figured it out.
Yeah,
I wonder if you can find out at what point, because at this point, he's not, that's John Williams is a brand, right? Like, it's kind of like, what's the one writer? James Patterson or something like that. Like, he comes out with
Powell.
It comes out like 3 books a year, but he doesn't write them. It's his name on them, and they got And I wonder when that shift
you guys
happened.
are blowing my mind right now.
You didn't know that?
I did not know either one of those things.
Oh yeah, same with Stephen King. He kind of just has a team that does it for him now.
Yeah,
they just
like a bunch of the Nancy Drews weren't written by the author,
or or Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's a fan.
We're just killing Mitch. We just crushed his spirit.
Well, Mitch, we might have something to tell you later.
But Santa Claus is real, Mitch. Don't worry.
Yeah,
It's okay.
Yeah, that's it.
I saw in the movie. He says that the mall Santas work for him. They
Yeah.
back to him and stuff like that.
Can we? While you brought that up, okay, I did not remember that Santa scene at all,
I didn't either.
and I was like, does that Santa think his whole family is dead? Because how else would he take
Yeah.
that statement?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Santa went home and was just haunted.
Like,
I never thought about that. And yes, that's what he had to have been like.
I know, like,
Or you-
what else are you gonna think?
Or it didn't hit him at first, and then he like was in his car later, and he's like, "Wait, oh my god, that kid's family must be like dead or something." Oh shit! Oh man, yeah, he's just sitting in a
love that
corner.
actor, Ken Campbell.
I didn't know.
I recognized him. I recognized him, and I know I've seen stuff with him in it before, but I couldn't tell you off the top of my head what else I've seen him in.
So yeah, he's like this great character actor. He was Ken Campbell. He's in Groundhog's Day, and he's in Armageddon and Down Periscope.
Oh yeah, he's in Armageddon. Yep, he's like the drivers of those tank things on the comet.
Yeah, exactly.
who was he in Groundhog Day?
He's the guy that Bill Murray meets in the hallway every morning. Like he says, "Oh, gonna shoot groundhog today" or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a small part. Wow.
There are no small parts.
I was kind of expecting more cameos from this movie of like, oh yeah, this person. Oh yeah,
I
that
had
person.
one of those. Big Pete from Pete and Pete was
Oh
in there.
yeah.
Yep.
I don't know that I know who that was.
That was his red-headed cousin or whatever. Older brother.
Oh, okay. Buzz?
No.
No, he's just one of his brothers.
Yeah.
He's the one who tells him he's a disease. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Kevin, you're a disease.
And then Hope Davis was the French airline counter clerk.
Oh.
The actress Hope Davis.
I don't know.
I know that name.
I saw her face and I was just like, oh, that she looks so familiar. And I was like, oh yeah, Hope Davis. She's really popular now. There's lots of things that she's in. I just can't think of something off the top of my head.
I just looked her up.
Too distracted
Captain
by John Candy.
America, Civil War.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. She's Tony Stark's mom.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
American Splendor.
I've seen that. Oh, I recognize. She's been in lots of stuff.
Man, the physical comedy with Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci in this is so good.
Oh, yeah.
So that was
Yeah.
They neither of them were sure this was going to be any good, so I guess they intentionally tried to go over the top as much as they could, just to have fun with it, because they just wanted to have fun with it, because they didn't know, weren't skeptical it was going to be a big hit.
I mean, it worked. I feel like that's Joe Pesci's whole thing is over the top.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
So someone had pointed out this was the same year, so he was filming this. It was like almost concurrently with Goodfellas. And they had like they had like a coach on set to keep him with his language, to try and coach him to like, because when he's supposed to be cursing and stuff, and
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That would be hard to switch. Like, I curse like a sailor, and then I go and hang out with my nephew, and I have to like watch myself.
Yeah.
Bret totally pulled a Home Alone on me this Thanksgiving, and he put a meal back in the oven to keep it warm at like a 400-degree oven.
no.
And then he pulled
Ooh, wow.
it out and left the serving spoon in it. And I went to go stir it, and I grabbed this 400-degree spoon. And I had, it was totally like Home Alone. I had the brand of the spoon in my palm.
Oh, wow.
And I let some colors fly, let me tell you. Some bad words were said in front of.
All of them were pointed at me.
Not necessarily, just in general. And it was in front of my super religious sister, my brother-in-law, who's a youth pastor, and my 2-year-old baby nephew. So
nice.
Wow.
I'm impressed that they had plenty to cut around that were not curse words for this movie.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I wanted to ask you guys, because I always cringe at like all the shit that, I don't know why, it's the stepping on things that
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
gets me in this film. And I was wondering, what's the worst thing that you guys have ever stepped on?
Oh.
I got a B.
Yeah, mine was a B. I stepped on a bee, and it stung me, which was not fun.
In your guys' state, it was in California. It was when I lived in California, so that's why I left.
Yeah,
I
got one bee sting.
I thankfully don't have anything too bad because I am like hyper worried about stepping on shit. So I like always tread really carefully. But growing up, I had 2 traumatic moments, not of me stepping on stuff, but family friends. And like my best friend's mom stepped on a toothpick.
Ooh.
Oh.
It was bad. And then my little brother, he used to do this thing where he'd like step on the floor and slide his foot and it'd go like across the floor. And he stepped on a shard of glass and went.
Ouch.
And I had to.
Oh,
welcome to Cringecast.
Kids are dumb.
I don't know why. I don't know what. Puncture wounds hurt so bad, and they take forever like to heal.
I'm the biggest baby. Like getting shots, getting blood drawn.
Choice of foods.
Bret just turns this into a full grievance airing.
Yeah, are we doing this now?
You are apparently.
Cringecast, take 2.
What about you, Mitch?
So the worst thing that I step on here in Arizona, the part of Arizona I'm in, is we have those like goat head thorns everywhere.
Oh.
My dogs drag them into the house all the time, so a day doesn't go by that I don't step on one unintentionally. But the worst thing that I've ever done to my foot was I was getting stuff ready in my bag for a trip out of town, and I had packed the bag full, and I went to go grab it and lift it up, and my toenail had caught on the bag and just ripped it.
Oh, I'm taking my headphones off. I can't do this.
I'm with you.
Sam is having a full-on panic attack.
It's the worst.
Tell me when it's over.
You bamboo shooted yourself.
Nail ripped off, brother. I've had a nail ripped off.
Oh, that's awful.
Football, like,
I've never had one ripped off. I've had, like,
ripped off the toenail completely on the big toe, and it had to go out of town and like constantly wrap it every day. It was the worst.
Yeah, that's.
Oh man,
yeah. Having a nail ripped off is awful.
Wow.
I'm gonna have to put like a content warning on this episode.
Yeah. Oh man. Wow.
Is it safe to come back?
It's safe.
Yeah, it's safe.
You're
Toenails.
safe now.
Don't say the word.
Is this? Can we add this to the list of baby things?
Shut the fuck up.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah. Dear Santa, all I want for Christmas is my toenail back.
You said it was safe.
Why would you trust me? Why?
Because I thought we were friends. So I told Bret when the basement scene happened with the nail, I was like, oh my God, Bret, this movie stole a lot from Quiet Place.
Wow. Yeah, I guess.
I was like, this is the equal and opposite version of A Quiet Place.
Yeah.
Yeah, this kid sneaking around his house trying to defeat a couple of murderers.
Joe Pesci is a monster, so.
Like, there's no mistaking in this movie, right? Like, the intent was child murder.
Yeah, they said, I'm going to kill him.
I'm going to,
Yeah.
I did say in the beginning, the real version of this movie would be with that kid murdered at the end. For sure.
No, just speaking of the basement, because you guys said earlier when we were recording the fireplace scene, and I honestly had no idea what you were talking about, and then we get to the furnace, and I didn't remember the furnace scene at all. So that blew my mind when I saw that.
I didn't remember it till Bret brought it up. And then I was like, oh yeah. But I totally forgot about that one too. I also forgot about the stealing the toothbrush scene. I don't know why I just didn't remember that either. It didn't really feel like it played that much of a factor into anything else. But
no, but I mean, what I remembered was him being scared of that neighbor.
Yeah.
And that's what that scene accomplished.
Yeah.
So I loved that really sweet little scene in the church. Like, where this kid that's like scared of his neighbor for no reason suddenly has this 180 and is like, way wise beyond his years.
That's such a kid thing too. Like, you tell kids like, oh, well, sorry, this is just the situation. And then they're like, well, why? Why don't you just go tell them you're sorry? And it's like, well, damn, kid. It's not that easy anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just really funny, really sweet. I liked it a lot.
I'm really happy to report that I was not scared by the basement furnace scene.
Oh,
good.
This time.
I was worried for you, bud.
What's funny is it totally, your memory, such an unreliable thing. Because I totally remember it being way, darker around the furnace. It's like, no, you just see the rest of the basement. That's all. It's just like the furnace thing. I feel in my memory, it was just like utter blackness and then this red grill, like growling at him. And then it's like, oh no, it's literally just, my memory built it up so much more terrifying. Yeah. From younger me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm a grown-ass adult, and if I'm doing laundry in the basement and my furnace kicks on, I definitely jump.
Well, you guys have the haunted murder basement.
Yeah,
you think
you
there's
have
a
a murder
ghost
basement.
here?
I do not.
Sam was scaring some of our house guests with the tale of there being a ghost in the basement. Apparently, there's a ghost in our basement. You guys will see when you come and visit.
Brett, you should write a horror short and we'll film it in your basement.
It's not that scary, guys.
You were the one who made a very strong case for the fact that you have a horror basement.
It was like the Heavyweights episode or something. Sam was saying that your basement was a scary basement. That's what I was referencing.
I don't think it's got windows.
Like really nonchalant. She's like, yeah, it's just sometimes when I'm like moving the corpses hanging from chains out of the way to do the laundry, it just feels a little creepy.
There's only one corpse. Come on.
Just singular.
Sometimes I gotta mop up the blood on the floor, but it's just part of the deal. So this movie totally 100% confirms that people's pain is hilarious because I mean,
Brett and I were busting up laughing, just full blown out loud laughing.
Yeah, like the feathers in the face moment.
Which is completely ridiculous. Why? I mean, that doesn't hurt anybody like everything else in the house does. It's just literally to embarrass him.
Yeah,
there's more to pain than physical pain.
That's true. Why you dress like a chicken?
I mean, the acting is so well done. I think with different actors that didn't do as good a job, it wouldn't have been as funny.
From the first scene, I was just like, if you just had some regular serious face actor pretending to be the cop in their house, you guys leaving town, trying to talk to the kids, it's Joe Pesci that made that whole thing work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I had no recollection that he stood in their house for that long.
I know.
He's in there for a really long time, and nobody seems to care that there's a cop in their foyer.
One thing I noticed also that I'd never noticed before about that opening scene is he has a little tie clip, and his tie clip is a gun, which I thought was pretty hilarious. It's just so over, it's a little tiny touch that's over the top that you're just not expecting.
Or that the pizza truck, the pizza company.
Oh yeah.
Instead of Little Caesars, it's Little Nero.
Well,
yeah.
So what's funny is I actually caught something this time that as many times as I feel like I've seen this movie. So I knew the Little Nero thing, but there's one time to do a close up of the sign and the little tagline says no fiddling around or something like that. Because the reference to Nero was the emperor who played his fiddle while Rome burned.
Oh, right. Okay.
That's funny.
That's deep.
Yeah.
I also I liked the side of the Wet Bandits van. It was just OK Plumbers. That was the most pathetic name.
So speaking of the Wet Bandits, I've seen this movie so many times. And this was the first time that I put it together that they were the Wet Bandits. Because the guy always left the water running.
Yep.
Yeah, this thing happened. Oh my God. That's just they spell it out for you in the thing, and Sam just goes, "Oh my God!"
Which I have to say that if I was one of the houses that got burglarized, when I came back, I think I'd be more pissed about the extraordinary water bill than my stuff getting stolen.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
The water damage to your
the
floor.
water damage, there was inches in that basement. That's...
What's up with their basement, too? Was there some pump not working? There's a drain in our freaking basement.
Oh. Well, it's because it's the murder basement, and you have to drain the blood somewhere.
Basements have drains. That's a thing.
It is.
Is it?
Yeah. They have some
Maybe
pumps.
he clogged those ones up too.
Listen, I've lived in California my whole life. I've never had a basement.
There's no basements in California.
Very
Same
few.
with Arizona.
I'm in a basement.
The basement of the soul.
Do you guys want me to take my web camera over and show you the sump pump and how it all works and everything? That'll translate really well to the podcast.
Only if it's a murder basement. So, one of the most horrifying things in this movie, to me, is a fucking tarantula on the loose in your house.
Oh my God. That scene was hilarious.
Daniel Stern's reaction totally justified.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't
that
believe...
scream.
And, it's really on his face.
Yeah. It is.
But it reminded me of, as Bret and Sam know, my old roommate Lolita. I don't know if you know that she used to have a tarantula. And the thing stopped moving for a while. And we were like, oh, I guess it died. And then she went to throw it away after weeks of leaving it there to discover that, I don't know if you know, but tarantulas can shed their skin.
Yeah.
That was the skin?
And it was the fucking skin. And we don't know what happened to the tarantula. With a tarantula in it. And it's so awful.
For at least
it's
2
awful.
weeks, you were in...
Oh my God.
We never found him.
Burn it down.
happened.
Burn the house down.
Well, I don't live there anymore, thank God. But,
Some poor tenant afterwards was like, oh my God, I thought I saw something out of the corner of my
God. Could you imagine opening a closet one day and just finding this mega web and a tarantula?
Nope.
Ugh.
Do they do that? Do they make webs?
I don't think they do webs. I don't think that's a web spider. I think that's
Your
just an
sister's
attack
has
spider.
a web. They do really thick webs that are in the corners
that's not
of things.
better.
Low.
It's worse.
Yeah.
My sister's a tarantula?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What, you don't
blue.
know? Okay. Welcome to Bret's sister's tarantula corner.
It was, of course, it's a classic and it's an excellent movie overall. It does. There's so many little things where it's like, is this one of the latest era, as far as most recent, most modern ones that would have been completely solved if cell phones were a thing?
Yeah, Bret had that same thought. He's like, this is one of those movies where if modern technology was around, this movie would not make sense.
Totally.
It's like, it'd just be, yo, Mom, where are you? At the airport. Where are you? At home. I'll get an Uber. I'll just call an Uber. I'll see you there.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
Scream
he's calling the
emoji.
cops. Like, what? From the
Scream
tree
emoji,
house? He's
that's
not
great.
calling the cops from the tree house. He's like, you fucking good.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
I never noticed before how they actually kind of solve that problem as far as normal phone lines. In the beginning, the guy's fixing the phone lines, and he tells her as they're about to leave, he's like, hey, this is really a big problem. The phone lines are going to be down for a couple of weeks or something.
Well, I was just gonna say, did you notice that the Murphys across the street, their phones were still working because the dad calls the answer machine. So I was wondering, is it just the McAllister's phone?
I guess
Yeah.
so.
But
Yeah, it
he
might have
ends
been. Oh, go ahead.
up calling the police.
From the other person's house, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he called it from his house.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, it was from his
And
house.
just said the other person's house.
Yeah.
Oh,
mean,
you're right.
They did say that the thing was only going to be out actually for 2 days. So
Oh, okay. Was it 2
by
days?
that time, it might have been working.
2 days, 2 weeks, you know.
Which, if he was comfortable calling the cops in the first place, why didn't he call him in
why?
the first place? Say, hey, there's guys trying to rob. I heard them
Also-
say they're going to come here at 9:00. Yes, this one of the cops is
Isn't
going to
it
come.
great when criminals are punctual?
Yeah.
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 I couldn't help thinking that like all the houses with like lights with timers, I was like, it's kind of like my house with hue lights. That's weird.
Also, every single house in the neighborhood, everyone's on vacation. Everyone went away.
Yeah. How bougie of a neighborhood is that? Where like everyone's like going on winter holiday.
To France with all of our kids.
That actually is a suburb of Chicago where that is, and it's very nice.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I don't live there, but
that house sold or something a couple years ago. It was like $2.5 million or something. That actual house.
Whoa.
And also that house has like a walk score of like 98% or something crazy. Like, it's one of the most walkable neighborhoods in America.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
also, is it nice that they staggered all their lights, all the neighbors, like so that
just by a couple minutes. They're like, well, the Robinsons has theirs turn on at 7. We better be 7:03.
Yeah.
I have a question. Has anyone ever heard the phrase silver tuna to describe something great? Or like
no, but I love it.
You love it? Yeah.
What?
I haven't, except like, does Andy calling Jim tuna in The Office count? Because that was my immediate thought when he said tuna.
I want to know if that's like a specific type of tuna, like if you're fishing and like the silver tuna are.
This sounds like a good Google question. What's the silver tuna?
These are the top results.
Oh, Jesus.
Is it porn?
It's a driving school.
It's a driving school?
No.
It's porn.
It's only from this movie.
So guys, when the bandits were going through the house, suddenly I had what I'm hoping is a false memory of doing this movie on the podcast before.
Okay, I have to go back and look.
Okay, because I could have sworn that I had a conversation where we talked about how this movie was really great, but it was just building up to the moment where we were watching the bandits in the house. So did we watch Home Alone?
I don't know. I had the exact same reaction.
Oh, no.
I was like, I feel like we watched this movie, and I tried to look on our Willson, and I didn't see it, but I was like, I swear we've had this conversation before.
I know. I'm freaking out, guys.
This was a conversation we had during like the second episode we ever did that was like Legend, and it was, I think it was just the premise of like this whole movie was trash except for that one part we watch it for, except that doesn't apply here, I don't think, because this movie was pretty good.
Okay, well, you definitely haven't done it. The show's never done it since at least before. Well, I'm saying you've been doing it longer. July 30th, 2015 is not the first episode. That's as far back as...
Wait,
yeah, it is. Yeah, that's our first episode.
Wet Hot American Summer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think...
we must have talked about it or something.
We must have.
Because quick scan through here.
I know.
We've definitely talked about
movie.
it.
I was so worried. I was like, oh my God.
We've definitely talked about Home Alone before.
Yeah. That's why I was saying in the beginning.
I felt like it was at your house, Ash.
Hold on.
But I feel like, did you guys ever see that article? Oh, did we lose the internet? Is everyone still there? Okay.
I'm here.
You guys ever see that article where about the actual practicality of the home defenses in Home Alone? And like most of the article was whatever, but they actually calculated the force at which the paint can would have hit the Wet Bandits in the face. And my God, they would have no skulls anymore. It would just be just a round indentation of paint can and 2 dead men.
But did they like even math it out where like they imagined how much paint was probably left and it still was like devastating with a quarter of a paint can?
Oh yeah, like this kid killed them. Just murdered.
Totally.
That's what I was like wondering, like with all the damage they take throughout the whole house, it's the shovel to the face that like takes him out in the end, like knocks him out. Like,
yeah.
It's like, I feel like falling down the stairs the first time, I'd be done.
Yep.
I'm like, all right, it's time to go home.
Yeah.
Not worth it.
No, like, how fucked are those stairs for the rest of winter now? Like,
they have
to wait for that shit to thaw.
Or
like,
the tar.
So the ice, you just salt it, but the tar, that's a problem.
He also has a flamethrower.
Oh, that's the thing. So wait, the heist or whatever, that'll take place on Christmas Eve, and it's literally the next day, right? It's Christmas Day that they're all getting home. So he got the whole house cleaned up.
Yeah,
and he had to give like his police statement. Also, the police. Oh no, he never really talked to the police. He just let them get arrested.
Yeah.
That's
what I was going to say is I want to see the shot from the outside of his family arriving home and all slipping on the stairs because they have to still be icy.
That would actually be really funny seeing them like walk up and all.
Yeah. I think he called the cops from the neighbor or to the neighbor's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So like they didn't even know that his house was being robbed.
Oh, okay. Oh, so he was pretending to be the neighbor when he called.
Yeah.
Right.
Got it.
Can I ask though, like, I mean, people calling the cops to have like a wellness check on someone is a thing, right?
Oh yeah.
So like when no one answers the door, shouldn't they be like, well, the person could be dead inside. We should go in somehow.
Yeah.
That would be the expected procedure.
I mean, the cops are so nonchalant.
Isn't it Chicago though? Right?
It is.
I mean, if Serial season 3 has taught us anything about Chicago police.
Jesus, that show is so bleak.
We listened to a couple episodes and we're like, oh, we need a break, man.
Like, God, like everything is bad in this country.
I mean, I knew that I had white privilege, but I did not know the extent of my white privilege to listening to that show. And I was like, holy shit.
Hey, you guys listen to any of season 3 yet?
Mm-mm.
I actually haven't heard it.
If you want to lose all hope in our government and justice system, definitely take a listen.
Yeah, listeners to our show, like season 1 and 2 Serial, not the same as season 3. It's take a listen. It's fucked up.
So the only looping back into the movie, the
Merry
only
Christmas.
The only thing that kind of makes the cop experience a little believable to me is my aunt's experience with Chicago police in a Chicago suburb. Like she was in kind of not inner city Chicago, but like somewhere was really urban and moved to a suburb, and she like heard a noise upstairs and called the cops, and they kind of, yeah, lady, we'll come out, blah, blah, blah. And they kind of begrudgingly came out and checked it out. And at the end, they're like, nobody's here. Like, listen, lady, it's really safe out here. You got nothing to worry about. So,
wow.
I kind of feel like that's the attitude of these cops. Like, an 8-year-old kid on his own. It's a safe neighborhood. It's fine. He'll watch too many cartoons.
Yeah, they were trying to lead us in that direction with some of the dialogue in the movie. Was it Buzz or whatever? It was like nothing happened. Yeah. But it's like, that is the wrong voice of authority for this. Like, I don't believe him.
Yeah. I mean, we're looking at it from a modern day audience too, where like, you literally can't leave your kids alone for a second. And if you leave your dog in the car, you like get your window broken, get arrested. Like, you know, there's definitely kind of a helicopter parenting attitude of today.
Like every place that we've lived, except for that time we lived across the street from the drug dealers, was like the safest place. Like,
yeah,
we've never lived in a dangerous place.
Yeah, that is true.
And even the drug dealers were super nice. Like, those guys were great.
Yeah, except when we tried to load in a giant armoire on Christmas Eve and they all stood out there with beers like King of the Hill and laughed at us while we tried to get it up 3 stairs.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I'd laugh at you too.
Yeah. They deserved it. They earned it.
Mm-hmm. Also, Buzz is a nickname, right? That's not his name. Like I hope the well-to-do McAllister parents did not name their eldest son Buzz.
Ooh,
right?
What is Buzz short for?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Buzz Aldrin?
Oh,
Aldrin
shit.
was his last name, but yes, he is a famous Buzz.
I'm just saying, like, he's a famous Buzz. Is Buzz short for something?
No, it's a legitimate name from like the 50s.
Buzz?
Yeah.
That's his real last name.
No, it's
Buzz
short
Aldrin.
I know that you only know of it from Toy Story, Patrick, but...
No, it's short for Buzzferney.
What?
Nothing. It's nothing.
I really want that to be a real name. Next time I get a dog, I'm gonna put that down as an option for their name. go. So, guys, did you ever ride a sled down the stairs like Kevin did?
No.
I tried to do a laundry basket.
Oh, wait, I
missed that.
did a cardboard box.
Yeah.
And like a laundry hamper for sure.
Yep. Laundry baskets.
Did anybody make it down, or I'll just like hit a stair and flip out of it at some point?
Yep. That's exactly what happened. And we were real smart children, and we did it on the double-decker staircase, and you'd make it down the first set just fine, and then you have to scooch across the landing to go down the longer one. But at the bottom of the longer one was our like wood-burning stove with like flagstone all around it. And my mom found us like going down the stairs and like flipped her shit. She was like, "Do you want to get stitches again? Don't ever do this. I don't want to see you doing this."
I never slid
I had to
down
get
the
stitches,
stairs on a thing, but like back when I was, 140 pounds less, like I did. You ever do the thing where you like kind of like bounce down the stairs on your feet, like you never really step on a stair?
Standing.
I used to do that
And you
shit
just
all the time. That was fun. Now I'm afraid I'll like break my fucking ankles, but.
In college, I lived in this place with stairs, and the stairs ended in a hallway, so it was just like wall. So we took I believe we took a mattress and put it down there, and we would all take turns sliding down on cardboard or like in little like baskets.
That is awesome. So being the California kids that we are, where we don't get real snow, my best friend and I, she had one of those disc sleds, and she had a lot next to her house that had a hill. So every winter we'd go up the dirt hill and slide down deer path.
The saddest Christmas.
It was so sad.
We loved it, but there was like a big rock in the way. So we spent all day digging out the rock because every time we go over it, it would hurt. And then it created this huge divot. And after we went down, we'd like get stuck in the divot. It was great.
Dirt sledding.
Back when I was a kid, we used to drag our sled to the top of a dirt hill.
Dirt sledding sounds derogatory, like a slang. Dirt sledders.
Yeah, that definitely is a porno.
Oh, no. Take it back, please. Take it
Twitter
back.
poll. Dirt sledder, is it a offensive epithet for some kind of marginalized group, or is it a sex act?
Yeah. Which one?
Oh, definitely a sex act.
Yeah. Told you.
So are we ready for some final thoughts?
I think so.
Can I ask a question real fast first, though? For someone who's
Yeah.
never been to the East Coast, like, I really have no concept of distance from Scranton, Pennsylvania to Chicago. And does Chicago actually on the way to Milwaukee?
Yes, from Pennsylvania, Chicago, you would pass to go to Milwaukee. Milwaukee is just like north across the Wisconsin border, but that's a long drive. That's you got to go through all of Ohio, all of Indiana.
It'd be like going from San Diego probably to about Texas, like the most western side of Texas.
Okay.
Yeah,
That'd be my guesstimation.
Yeah, it's a
All right.
it's a-
Because, yeah,
I just started typing it in because a lot of people, it's one of the first things that popped up to Chicago drive time. 10 hours and 45 minutes.
8 hours.
10.
Okay.
10 hours.
10.
Oh.
Wow.
And 45
So
minutes.
that's from Napa to here.
To
Yeah.
Portland. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the distance.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a long drive. Which, funny though, did they ever establish where all the rental cars sold out or something? Because if driving there was an option for her, and it seemed like money was also no option for her.
I think she couldn't drive because she said she'd been up for 60 hours.
Okay.
That's my guess. And also the fact that they were in a budget van makes me think that all the rental cars were out as well.
True.
I've never seen a moving van like that with a window to the cab.
Yeah, me neither.
yeah, true. Which made me think, like, if you were stuck in the back of the van with all those people playing instruments, do you question how much you actually love Kevin at that point?
He's not worth it.
I love that John Candy tells a story that's like way worse than their current.
Yeah.
We fucked that kid up for life, but you know.
They're resilient.
He was there with the body for hours.
You know, also never dawned on me, all of Catherine O'Hara's, all of her like unrelenting mom energy that she expelled and just effort was literally meaningless because the rest of the family showed up 60 seconds after she did, and it was for nothing. It achieved nothing. And it's like this whole thing is there's Kevin's, it's mainly about that, but she has this whole, your mom going back for her child, and she's going to do anything and everything to get back to him as soon as possible. But it meant nothing.
They cut out the conversation where her husband was like, it's an 18-hour drive, but the flight leaves in 16 hours. She's like, no, I'm going.
Is that like the second reference to Raiders of the Lost Ark then? Because, you know, it's like if Indiana Jones wasn't there, the Nazis still would have blown off. And then the fact that it's Joe Pesci has a scar in his hand, just like oh
my god,
so good.
That's awesome.
Good, that's a good one.
Oh, that scene! How bad would that have hurt?
I know how bad that would have hurt. Look, I have a fucking serious burn on the back of my hand right now. It hurts bad, guys.
Oh. Do you need a ambulance?
All right. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts, and since it's Christmas episode, what was your favorite gift you ever got as a kid? I don't want to assume, did we all celebrate Christmas growing up? I don't want to.
Oh, that's a good question.
I know what my favorite gift was.
Oh, I do too.
And it's a nerd ass.
Can I guess it?
You can't. You don't know what it is. Go ahead.
I was gonna guess if it's your leather Raiders bag.
No.
Oh, filled with money.
That wasn't a Christmas present.
Oh, okay.
But no, my favorite Christmas present was I used to play Warhammer 40K. I would still play it, but there are no adults that I know that still play it.
I used to too. My parents got rid of all my stuff though.
Oh no!
Yeah.
So you don't play anymore.
I know.
40K is a fucking rad game. But my parents bought me for Christmas the full 12-inch tall complete castle fortress set for 40K, or actually it was for the original Warhammer, but you built the whole thing. It was like a real ass defend a castle with room to put all the models on it. It was awesome. Favorite.
That sounds amazing. Well, do you want to do your final thoughts too?
Yeah, final thoughts too.
Okay, final thoughts on this movie.
Present and final thoughts.
Final thoughts on this movie. It was. I was gonna just say awesome, but it's one of those movies that is absolutely the core of Christmas nostalgia, and it's hard to judge the film because obviously there's one soulless person in Bryce's family that doesn't love this movie. But you know what? If you see this it's the Ewoks, I guess, right? If you see it as a kid, the Ewoks are great. I saw this as a kid, and it's a great movie, and I love it, and I will always love it. And there's parts of it that are trash. They're the thing where Joe Pesci just stands and gets his head torched by the flamethrower for 30 seconds. You know what? I'll let it slide because this was a good movie. I laughed out loud, and I would watch it again.
I agree. All right, Ash.
Me? Oh, shoot.
Ash, favorite present.
Or Patrick. We could do Patrick.
Yeah.
Or Mitch.
I still have to think about the present. Is it from when I was a kid?
Or, I mean, it could be if you had one that you feel like you loved more. I was thinking kid, but whatever.
My favorite present right now is the Apple Air computer.
No, it has to be when you were a kid.
That's not as fun.
Vetoed.
I can't think of any good ones from when I was a kid. You go first.
All right, think about it.
Well, my final thought is, what the hell does the dad or the mom, what do they do to afford that house?
Oh my god, they're so fucking rich.
And do you know what? They paid, didn't they say they paid for everyone to go to Paris?
Yeah.
No, his boss did.
Oh, was it?
His boss?
I thought it was his brother.
It was his brother's apartment.
No, I'm saying Kevin's dad.
Someone got a job in Paris.
Yeah, I think it was his brother got a job in Paris because they said that his brother's kids were still there living with them. I think. I don't know. I always have trouble wrapping my brain around the family in this movie because there's so many.
Yeah, I think they were staying at the brother's apartment, which makes me think if you're not paying for lodging, that you can afford the
You're still
airline
spending
tickets.
like 10 grand in just tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Well, did you hear she was like giving that lady all her jewelry and $500, and I thought they said it would cost like $20,000.
And those are
something.
Rich people.
And they're flying first class.
Yeah. Who ditches their kids on like a 14-hour flight?
Monsters who leave them with other people.
To take care of it.
Yeah. Monsters. Fucking monsters.
I would be that person.
You know the responsibility fell on that poor teenage girl. She was like, great, I'm stuck on a plane and I'm babysitting like 10 of my cousins right now.
Yeah.
And my presence, it's kind of a tie. I remember two, because you usually remember like memories as a kid and you remember being like really happy. And I remember two that really stuck with me. Is maybe one is similar to Bret's, but probably right around the time that this movie came out, 90, because I was pretty young, it was when Lego really started making bigger like sets and things. And they had in the medieval, the Knights ones, they had the Black Knights castle. It was like an all black castle, all black bricks. It was really cool. And I remember that one.
Awesome.
And then my dad stayed up. Well, Santa Claus stayed up all night.
Yes, yeah.
Making it, and it was already assembled in the morning.
What?
Santa Claus is real, remember?
Yeah.
I mean, right, Mitch?
That's Santa.
Right.
That
An elf helper to come and put that Lego set together, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was awesome. I remember I still have like that sense memory of being so geeked out over that. And then the other one was when Super Nintendo first came out, and I got a Super Nintendo.
Were you the Nintendo 64 kid?
Yeah, that was me. Yeah. I just remember going and immediately disappearing and playing the Super Mario for like 8 hours.
Yes.
Totally. All right,
Okay,
final thoughts on the movie. Oh, Pat has to...
Oh, right.
Your movie thoughts, Patrick.
Oh, how did they afford all that stuff?
Those are your only thoughts.
I think there was an article like not too long ago where they like speculated on what the job of the dad was. I can't remember where I read it, but it was something about him being an architect or something like that.
I thought I remember reading joke. It was like he's a mob lawyer or something. That's why they don't really get to have the cops break into the house or something like that.
That's funny. I would have guessed like some sort of finance person.
Oh, yeah. Or like a CEO or something?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't seem as worked up in like his job. I feel like CEOs are portrayed in movies as like always working, blah 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 on the phone. Mm-hmm. So that's why I think finance, because the year has ended and finance.
Technically, I'm a CEO.
Yeah, I know.
Of your own heart.
All right, Ash.
Okay. So I remembered my present, and it's got a story. So I got this stuffed rabbit one year for Christmas that I just absolutely loved and took with me everywhere when I was a kid, like everywhere. And one year, and I believe I got him for Christmas. And then one year I lost him, and he must have cause I really would take him everywhere. He must have fallen out of the car or something in a parking lot, and I was just like devastated. And then the next Christmas, my aunt showed up with the stuffed animal, the stuffed rabbit, identical rabbit. And it turned out, I found out later that all of my mom, I grew up with like 8 brothers and sisters. She was adopted, but there's a lot of aunts and uncles in my family, but they all had this stuffed rabbit. So my other aunt gave me her one because she heard that I was so sad that I lost the one.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Aww.
And I still have it because I won't get rid of him now. I'm now that I remember taking him, and I was now that I lost you, I'm never getting rid of you again. I'm never losing you again. So I'm just I've gotten rid of all of my old stuffed animals, but that's the one that I'm I'll never get rid of him.
That could have gone two ways. You could have been much more careful with it, or realized I got 6 spares. Still, 'cause all the other
let's see if you can survive this rocket launch. I got more.
Then you're Sid.
Yeah. But I really enjoyed this movie. I love the heart-touching side story of the neighbor with his son and like
Me
reconnecting. And
murderers have feelings too.
What?
I said murderers have feelings too.
Well, like, I just feel like that moment when the kid was like, well, I would definitely call my dad, especially on Christmas, like I've had a falling out with my mom before and not talked to her for like over a year. And so that was kind of like, like stabbed to the heart.
Yeah.
I don't know if like you can relate to that sort of thing too, Bret, where it's like, I guess I should call them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I really liked it. I think it's a really great film and it's really well done.
I just want to know, how much detail do you think he went into when he called his son to reconcile? Did he say, son, I was saving this young lad from getting his fingers beaten off by beating two burglars unconscious with a snow shovel last night?
And I realized something.
Yeah.
Now, do you think because the church that he was watching his granddaughter in, like, is in the same neighborhood, like that his son and his family don't live that far away from him anyways?
I think so.
They're like next door neighbors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, they didn't have plans with anybody else on Christmas. So both the dad and his son and his son's family were just like being super indignant and not like.
That really makes his son look like an asshole. Like,
yeah, I'd rather be alone and make you suffer alone than be together.
Oh, I forgot to also mention, I realized the irony that I was watching this movie Home Alone while being home alone.
Think that counts as a coincidence. Thank God you're not 8 years old.
I know. It was scary, man. It's raining. There's like a thunderstorm outside. I could have died.
Yes. Your power could have been cut off and the Wet Bandits could have come.
Totally.
Mitch.
I think I completely enjoyed this movie. I had a great time rewatching it and realized that there was a lot of stuff that I just did not remember from the movie, and also mashed in with the second movie, because I never watched any of the sequels past the second one, but I thought for sure that I don't know if you guys remember it, but that Talk Boy like recorder that's in the second movie?
I had one.
Yeah.
So did I. I thought that was going to be in this one as well, but yeah, it never showed up. So I guess it's only in the second one, which I guess is just basically a commercial for that toy.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Why did I think it was in this one?
I don't know. I guess the whole like using the movie to manipulate the burglars or the pizza boy, I just thought that maybe he recorded somebody doing and did the same thing, but which also brought me is that movie that he watches, is that a real movie or is that like something they made just for this?
It's a fake movie that they made just for this.
Oh.
Because I really want to watch it.
I know.
So bad.
Like, at one point, he's like, so-and-so's upstairs taking a bath. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Is he, like, dead in the bathtub? What does that mean?
Blood bath.
The long bath. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was great. I mean, especially for a family movie from the 90s, I really didn't think that I would, I guess, find that much joy out of it again. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I guess that's the difference between watching a family movie and a kids movie. Like, there's still stuff that you can relate to as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
yeah, totally. I definitely agree.
And then I guess for my favorite present that I got as a child, I don't know if I'm the oldest one on the podcast now at 36. But one year we got my brother and myself. We got the original Nintendo Entertainment Center or system.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I I don't know if my parents were just great trolls or something else happened, because they didn't give it to us till the day after Christmas, and it was wrapped in underneath the Christmas tree. So they came up with this whole story that Santa like came back the next day to drop it off for us. So we woke up the next day not thinking anything, and then saw another present under the tree, and we're like, "What is that?" And there it was. We opened that up, and there was the NES.
You know, you guys had like the Christmas morning, and then all the presents were open, and then like one of your parents looked to the other and was just like, "Where the fuck is that game?"
That, or do your parents celebrate Christmas like Mac from It's Always Sunny, just like stealing presents from someone else's house?
I mean, that could be it too. More power to them. They got away with it.
Yeah.
Who knows? My favorite Christmas present is kind of similar. So my dad got a Christmas Eve bonus when we were kids. Would have been like 1995, 1996. And so my mom and my dad had decided, like, let's get one gift that the whole family can kind of enjoy. So my dad stops off at Toys R Us on the way home, Christmas Eve, and he's like, well, I need to get like one family gift that we all can enjoy. Like, what do you recommend? And the Toys R Us employee goes, okay, guy, I got a good deal for you. So we're cleaning out the stock room tonight, and I'm not supposed to do this, but we found an N64 in the back. And my dad's like, what's an N64? And he's like, disappointed. He's like, are you kidding me? It's only like the most sold out hot toy on the market right now. You need to get this for your family. And my dad was like, I don't know. My kids are kind of young. I don't think they know what this is. And he's like, guy, listen, you have to buy this thing. You have to. You cannot leave here without buying this for your family. And my dad like felt kind of pressured, and he ended up buying it and like drove home really angry, and like got home and told my mom, he's like, oh, I'm so mad at Toys R Us. They totally bullied me into buying this, and I knew I shouldn't have bought it, but here it is, and it was kind of expensive, blah, blah, blah. My mom's like, are you kidding me? My brother's been on the wait list for months, and he couldn't get an N64. You were able to get one for the kids. They're going to be so excited.
Oh, wow.
And we legit, like, I didn't really know what it was, but my brother, who was younger, totally knew, and our whole family like erupted like the N64 kid, and we were playing Mario Kart Racing and Super Mario all day, and it was the best family gift. And we had Cruising USA. Oh yeah, we played that. It was great. So that's my favorite Christmas present.
Oh wow.
And yeah, I totally agree. This movie definitely held up. It was really funny, and I was expecting really like awful dated stuff to be in it, but there really wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty like even keel, nothing too like political or like bad, and it's like surprisingly timeless. Mm-hmm. So
except for cell phones.
Except for cell phones.
And the big glaring thing of like going to the airport pre 9/11, like the fact that they ran there, like
yeah, that's maybe
switching out the tickets that like right there in the terminal. Like I'm pretty sure that's a red flag now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like 45 minutes. Like if you're not already at the airport,
you don't make it to the gate without a boarding pass.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that was the only dated part. But
Joe Pesci is timeless.
Oh yeah.
Did we watch? Was Joe Pesci in the first Lethal Weapon? Because he's in one of the other ones.
Not the
I don't
first
think
one.
he's in the first one. I didn't see it on his IMDb.
He's for sure in like 3 and 4. I don't know.
Yeah,
If it's 2, 3, and 4.
he was in 2.
Is 2? He's in 2 on? Or,
Yeah.
I know for a fact he was in 3 and 4. I don't remember if he was in 2 or not.
I know.
Yeah, he's
I know
in 2.
2 has some iconic stuff, and 3 I don't remember much. But 4 has Jet Li, so we got to do 4 for the podcast.
I love Lethal Weapon 4. I love that movie.
All right, well, I guess that was Home Alone. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you like this show, it's part of the Last Dash TV network of content. It's this show and a YouTube channel with video game parodies and a drinking show and a lot of other fun stuff.
Yeah, and if you like the show, you can follow us on Twitter. We're at Let's Rewatch on Twitter, and we do fun things like posting a movie poll, or I post pictures, like still shots of the movie, and this time I posted a picture of the dude repairing the phone lines. And right away, our friends from Movie Reviews and 20 Qs got it with Home Alone. And then Bree also got it. And Lindsay King. So good job, guys.
Speaking of friends, Mitch.
Yeah, I had that thought.
Yeah, we usually do Mitch before the rest of that.
Oh, no. You're right.
Sorry, Mitch. We're still getting our sea legs with not having a Nick. Oh. You need to plug all your stuff.
Yeah, thank you, Mitch, for being on the show again. You want to plug away, my friend?
No, you can find me on Twitter. I'm at Mitchipedia, GER. The GER stands for Geek Elite Radio. That's my podcast network that I do a bunch of different podcasts on. So go there, check out our Facebook page. It's where we do a lot of our communication, and hopefully, I can get each and every one of you on a different podcast, because I know we seem to talk a lot about the same thing. So
yeah, totally.
Thank you again for letting me come on.
Oh, yeah, thanks for coming back.
Thanks for making so much time to be on our show. How many times have you been on? Like,
this would be 3.
Is the third time with the San Diego Comic-Con episode.
So it's like 12 to 15 hours of hanging out with us. Like,
to be fair, the Comic-Con episode wasn't a 4-hour record.
No, that's true.
That's true.
But we did all watch the movie before, so
And you know what? I enjoy it. I love talking to you guys about movies. So either here or virtually in social media wise.
Yeah. Totally. Well, thanks. We love having you on.
Thank you.
And if you guys liked our podcast, like Mitch does, please give us a positive review on iTunes and tell your friends. And you can find us on all the major platforms like Google Play, Stitcher, and Spotify.
We got another good review on iTunes.
Thank you.
Our average is up to 4.5 now.
Finally.
Oh, yes.
Also, it's really hilarious because if you go on iTunes, the top review is from Patrick, which now is really funny because he's a host on the show.
And
you've come full circle.
I believe I was under the influence of anesthesia when I wrote that.
Oh, yeah. That's right. You told me that.
Flaw in the system. All right. Well, yeah, that's the show, everybody. We do this every 2 weeks, so keep your podcasts up to date and join us next time for another episode. And it'll be a great episode because next time we're going to watch Avalanche Sharks.
What?
Wow.
I'm out of here.
Sad.